824-64-POD. Nick Fazekas. We talked in previous episodes about how the schedule was shaping up so that Nevada could seize a little momentum. And they won 3 straight, including 94-69 over Fresno State last time out. They head to San Jose State tomorrow, Friday. We'll publish this on Thursday. They've done what you prescribed, I believe.
Yeah, like we said, it's the schedule. Again, the people that are maybe the haters, the non-haters, the people that are fans, the skepticisms. It's kind of how it shapes out, and sometimes it works in a positive manner this way, right? It's the schedule is now being favorable for the Pack to get some momentum. Next to San Jose, then you go on the road against a really good Colorado State team, which that will be another test that I think when you first started Mountain West play, you didn't think that would really be a test. So that'll be good because, yeah, you strung together a couple in a row here, go to Colorado State, and then, yeah, you get that rematch against Boise back at the house. But, again, first things first, you got to go to San Jose, you got to handle business, and you got to keep this train going.
Okay, that Fresno State win at home, when was that, Monday? They scored 94 points. That's their second best point total of the season, best in conference play. They hold Fresno State to 69 points, and that's all the more impressive because that was a game that featured a lot of possessions. Because Nevada played with great pace, that was a glimpse of a Nevada success formula that was at least exciting, if not sustainable, right? They played great defense, forcing, I think, 3 turnovers in the first 3 possessions for Fresno State, and also ran like maniacs down the floor. I mean, they attacked in transition. They had 30 assists on 38 field goals. There was a ferocity to the defense. There was an explosive kind of joy to the offense. It was really enjoyable. I mean, I guess it's, you could be negative and be like, where's that been all year? Or you can be positive and say, let's see that again. I mean, is that how you saw it?
Totally. And jokingly, maybe Steve is listening to our podcast here and listening to the past couple broadcasts that we've done about trying to play with more speed. But, Coach Alford, I'm sure, understands it better than anybody that more speed is going to be more possessions, which means more shots, which means guys are going to be happier and a better flow on offense. And a lot of times, some people don't understand, but good defense leads to good offense, but sometimes good offense can lead to good defense as well. And, yeah, the Pack had 41 in the first half, which just going back to like the Boise game, they had 18 points in the first half when we did that broadcast, where it's like the flow just becomes a lot better for these guys. And then you catapult that with 53 points in the second half. It's like, geez, you're on pace for over 100 points at that point. So I believe playing faster is more fun if you have the personnel, which I believe the Pack do have the personnel. It just makes everything more fun for everybody. Going on runs is always fun. Everyone's, jazzed up and high-fiving and, everything like that. Sometimes when that ball gets stuck offensively or you can't get transition buckets, it just feels like the game drags. And you can feel that as a player as well, to where playing fast is just a more fun style of basketball, not only for the fans, but for the players as well. And it just equals more possessions, which gives you more chances at more made shots.
How about this, too? If there are more possessions in a game, if you have a sense that you're going to get more opportunities, mistakes don't matter as much, right? Like if you miss a shot, you're like, well, it's all right. We're going to be back down here in 10 seconds.
Yeah, and I think you've alluded to that in the past, where it's like you feel like, yeah, it's not as magnified, right? Like the mistakes when it's a 55 to 58 game, you can't really look back and be like, oh, if I would have just made that pass there, or, like if it's like 90 to 80, it's like you kind of forget about it all because there's just so many possessions, and you kind of like almost get to like more of an optimistic mindset, I feel like, as you get more possessions, and it just makes the game more fun to watch. It makes it more fun to play. So I totally agree with you, John, that it's like the magnification on poor plays or poor possessions aren't nearly as big or as bad when you're scoring 94 versus when you're scoring 64.
Now, Fresno State plays as fast as anybody in the conference, so Nevada kind of met that challenge and went with it. San Jose State won't play as fast, but now it's kind of incumbent upon Nevada to maybe insist on pace. And that, I think, well, you tell me, is that different to just matching the opponent's style and going as fast as the opponent wants to go, not trying to dictate the tempo of a game?
Yeah, of course. I think both you and I agree that the pack is kind of looking for an identity, right? I mean, they're for here since Mountain West has started. I don't know if they have quite that identity where it's like, are they a strong defensive team? Are they a three-point shooting team? Are they a fast-paced team? I don't know if they've even figured that quite out yet through Mountain West play. But scoring 94 and realizing that you can play fast and you can, make mistakes and still, get more possessions and more shots, that maybe this does kind of get into the rhythm of this now becomes a Nevada identity of we're going to play faster. We're going to try to speed everything up. We're going to speed you guys up. And like you said, dictate the pace of play that is favorable to go out there and score 94 points. Because like I said before, in college basketball, if you can score 94, you're going to be very hard to beat.
Okay, injuries, that is something you expect this time of year. Season gets long, things kind of build up. Trey Coleman nursing a stiff back. Daniel Foster, a series of ankle injuries, took him out of the game early against Fresno State. And Chuck Bailey sprained his ankle in practice after the Air Force game, did not play against Fresno State. When guys go down, does that have maybe an unconscious effect on the guys who remain healthy because they understand it's an opportunity they can seize?
I mean, it's a slippery slope question, right? You don't ever want to see your teammate get
No,
hurt, right?
no
You
one's
never want
rooting
to
for
see that.
injuries.
No,
Yeah,
no,
right.
not at all. No one would ever do that. But guys start to go down, minutes start to go up, opportunities start to rise, right? It's just kind of how it works. There's only so many guys that can play, and there's only so many guys that Coach Alford probably trusts. And certain guys get hurt, and that just means more minutes and more time for yourself. So I will say selfishly as a basketball player, selfishly as a teammate, when a guy gets hurt, that you kind of have to feel like you got to rally, and you're like, okay, Chuck, you went down, that's fine, dude. Like get right. We're gonna pick up the slack. I can specifically remember even when I sprained my ankle my senior year, and I was rushing and rushing and rushing, and we had the San Jose Hawaii trip, and of course, I was the focal part of the team. I was, this and that, and I sat in the locker room with Coach Fox that night, and I couldn't play. Like it was just my ankle just wasn't ready. And he goes, Nick, if we beat San Jose tonight, I promise you we'll win Hawaii, whether you play or not. And I remember we beat San Jose. We go into Hawaii. I'm in a swimming pool doing as much rehab as possible, trying to get back, couldn't get back. But everyone is like patting me on the back, like, Nick, we see you grinding. We're going to grind for you. Like, we're going to, and sure enough, we go and beat Hawaii, right? Which was a very hard road trip back then. So I believe, yes, that selfishly as a guy that watches another guy in your position go down, or anyone that's kind of like been contributing, it's like, we got you, dude. Like we're gonna carry the load for you, and it just equals more minutes, which everyone wants to play more. But selfishly, you got to walk in and understand that you're gonna have to carry more load.
All right. Speaking of big men and injuries, Brandon Love looks very different now, and we understand he's healthy. He was dealing with a bone bruise. And all of a sudden, he is rejecting inbound attempts, right? He's the most ferocious inbound defender, I think, in the Mountain West right now. What's the difference you see? And is it just as simple as he's healthy and feels comfortable?
I just think, yeah, anyone who's ever had a bone bruise has an understanding that it can be painful, and there's going to be certain movements that you're going to try to not make, and there's going to be certain moves you don't want to make, certain ways you want to run. And then when you finally get maybe into practice, or obviously Brandon's getting more minutes and he's starting to understand that bone bruise isn't there anymore. It's just it's just the dude's confidence in him to where he's like, okay, I can do this. I can be the Brandon Love that, Nevada wanted me to be. So the opportunity is obviously there. He's getting more minutes, and, you and I aren't in the locker room. So maybe it was a progression to where it's like, now he's healthy. Now he needs to play for us, because we saw what Brandon could give the pack in the beginning of the year. But yeah, it's a great boost that Nevada has kind of needed halfway through, or even here in the latter part of the Mountain West schedule.
Okay, so at San Jose State tomorrow night, the Spartans blew a 17-point halftime lead and lost to San Diego State at home last time out, 69-66. And then Nevada's on the road to Colorado State and home against Boise State. So, San Jose State may sound easy or read easy on paper, but that's going to be a challenge. And then two really upper half of the league teams coming up. So Nevada could be in a phase we don't yet know of getting really hot, or they could be, in fits and starts still. What are you looking for out of the San Jose State performance that'll kind of let you know that maybe this is a Pac team ready to make a move?
I mean, it's kind of like we said, just the pace of play needs to still continue to be there. It's like you said, Fresno is one of the faster playing teams, and it's like, did they just fall into that rhythm, or is Nevada going to start to dictate? So I think the dictating on Friday night is going to be very crucial for Nevada, and to kind of see if they're going to dictate the pace and play a little bit faster and, get that tenacity and everything like that. I think that the first, 5 to 7 minutes will be kind of a telltale sign in that game to be like, okay, look, they're starting to turn the page. They want to be something that they haven't been all year. But yeah, a game that they can get into the 80s, high 70s, 80s would be like another, I think, step in the right direction for sort of that pace of play and sort of finding that identity.
All right. He's Nick. I'm Ramey. 2464 Pod. Peace.